LETTER XLIII OF Clarissa Harlowe, or the History of a Young Lady, Vol. 9. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit Librivox.org. Recording by Nicole Lee. Clarissa Harlowe, or the History of a Young Lady, Vol. 9, by Samuel Richardson. LETTER XLIII. Mr. Belford to Colonel Morden, Thursday, September 21st. Give me leave, dear Sir, to address myself to you in a very serious and solemn manner, on a subject that I must not, cannot, dispense with, as I promised the divine lady that I would do every thing in my power to prevent that further mischief of which she was so very apprehensive. I will not content myself with distant hints. It is with very great concern that I have just now heard of a declaration, which you are said to have made to your relations at Harlowe place, that you will not rest till you have avenged your cousin's wrongs upon Mr. Lovelace. Far be it from me to offer to defend the unhappy man, or even unduly to extenuate his crime. But yet I must say, that the family, by their persecutions of the dear lady at first, and by their implacableness afterwards, ought, at least, to share the blame with him. There is even great reason to believe, that a lady of such a religious turn, her virtue neither to be surprised nor corrupted, her will inviolate, would have got over a mere personal injury, especially as he would have done all that was in his power to repair it, and as, from the application of all his family in his favour, and other circumstances attending his sincere and voluntary offer, the lady might have condescended with greater glory to herself than if he had never offended. When I have the pleasure of seeing you next, I will acquaint you, Sir, with all the circumstances of this melancholy story, from which you will see that Mr. Lovelace was extremely ill treated at first, by the whole family, this admirable lady excepted. This exception, I know, heightens his crime: but as his principal intention was but to try her virtue, and that he became so earnest a suppliant to her for marriage, and as he has suffered so deplorably in the loss of his reason for not having it in his power to repair her wrongs, I presume to hope that much is to be pleaded against such a resolution as you are said to have made. I will read to you at the same time some passages from letters of his, two of which, one but this moment received, will convince you that the unhappy man, who is but now recovering his intellects, needs no greater punishment than what he has from his own reflections. I have just now read over the copies of the dear lady's posthumous letters. I send them all to you, except that directed for Mr. Lovelace, which I reserve till I have the pleasure of seeing you. Let me entreat you to read once more that written to yourself, and that to her brother, which latter I now send you, as they are in point to the present subject. I think, Sir, they are unanswerable. Such at least is the effect they have upon me, that I hope I shall never be provoked to draw my sword again in a private quarrel. To the weight these must needs have upon you, let me add, that the unhappy man has given no new occasion of offence since your visit to him at Lord M.'s, when you were so well satisfied of his intention to atone for his crimes, that you yourself urged to your dear cousin her forgiveness of him. Let me also, though I presume to hope there is no need, when you coolly consider every thing, remind you of your own promise to your departing cousin, relying upon which her last moments were the easier. Reflect, my dear Colonel Morden, that the highest injury was to her. Her family all have a share in the cause. She forgives it. Why should we not endeavour to imitate what we admire? You asked me, Sir, when in town, if a brave man could be a premeditatedly base one. Generally speaking, I believe bravery and baseness are incompatible. But Mr. Lovelace's character, in the instance before us, affords a proof of the truth of the common observation, that there is no general rule but has its exceptions. For England, I believe, as gallant a nation as it is deemed to be, has not in it a braver spirit than his, nor a man who has a greater skill at his weapons, nor more calmness with his skill. I mention not this with a thought that it can affect Colonel Morden, who, if he be not withheld by superior motives, as well as influenced by those I have reminded him of, will tell me, that this skill and this bravery will make him the more worthy of being called upon by him. To these superior motives then I refer myself, and with the greater confidence, as a pursuit ending in blood would not at this time have the plea lie for it with any body, which sudden passion might have with some, but would be construed by all to be a cool and deliberate act of revenge for an evil absolutely irretrievable, an act of which a brave and noble spirit, such as is the gentleman's to whom I now write, is not capable. Excuse me, Sir, for the sake of my executorial duty and promise, keeping in eye the dear lady's personal injunctions, as well as written will, enforced by letters posthumous, every article of which, solicitous as we both are to see it duly performed, she would have dispensed with, rather than further mischief should happen on her account. I am, dear Sir, Your affectionate and faithful friend, J. Belford. End of Letter XLIII.